Yeah.
Everyone, thanks so much for coming to this conference to attend this talk. I'm really excited to see everyone here, virtually, I guess. I'm sure we're gonna learn a lot today. So I think I've got about 35 slides. Trust me, this is gonna be fun. So I didn't have time to put enough like GIF into my slides, so I'm just going to just tell funny jokes and let's see how it goes. So right now I'm going to share my screen so we can all see the slides, and post disabled and then sharing screen. Can I get access to share my screen? I cannot. Looking at it right now. Let's say host disabled attendee sharing screen.
So yeah, Shobhit, I think you should be. Yeah, please go ahead and try now. Yeah.
Okay, let's try that about now. And yes, I can share my screen. Can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
Exciting. So today I'm going to be talking about lazy loading images progressively and button analyzing. So yeah, that's the topic, and let's move forward. So my name is Shodik Boyomide. I am based in Lagos, Nigeria. I'm sure you know Nigeria. It is in the center of Africa, and it's an amazing country here. So for job, I am a senior developer advocate at Flake, media developer expert at Cloudinary, instructor at Egghead, and I run a lot of communities around Africa and Nigeria. For example, on Stack, Open Source Community Africa, DevC Lagos, and Niger Hacks, now Africa Hacks. You can connect with me on Twitter at developer.io, and we can talk more there. My DM is opened. I tweet a lot, and yeah, just check me up there. Let's move forward. So first thing we're going to look at is loading. So when we talk about loading, we're talking about two major things. Number one, fetching data. Number two, client output. So we must be fetching something from somewhere, and that's something we are fetching must be going somewhere. These two things are very important. So now, for example, we are fetching an image from somewhere. Okay, let's talk React. Now, since this is JavaScript conference, so we are importing, for example, logo from assets logo. Then we are going to represent an image in our JavaScript saying image src curly braces logo. That's all. We fetched the data from locally saying, get this file. We imported it into our JavaScript code base, and we gave an output, because now if you just imported the data, you wouldn't be able to, the client wouldn't be able to see anything. So the client will be expecting an output. So that output is where you are referencing in the body saying image src curly braces body or logo or hero or background. Then the client gets to see what you imported. So you fetch data, then the client has to get an output. So images accounts for 60% of the bytes on average needed to load a web page on the internet. Whatever web page, website you're loading on the internet, is like images are 60% of the assets you are loading that makes the website slow. So 60% of the things that slow down a website are images. So when you're on images, the image you're importing into your website is 2 MB, 5 MB, and there was no way you could load them progressively. You were not able to lazy load them. You were not able to minimize the sizes of these images. The website will be very low, very slow to load. And if you try inspecting via Lighthouse, you're going to get a really poor data on how fast your page loads because of the sizes of the images. And most times when we are building for progressive apps, we always inspect, then we go on that network to see how large these files are and how long they take to load. On that network, it's going to show you. So when you right click, go to inspect, it gives you network, and you see, okay, so for example, index.js took 5 seconds to load. This took 2 seconds, that took 1 second. So let's tweet about this. You can take a screenshot, you can tweet about it. It's a really important data from Google that I think everybody should know about. So now let's talk more about images. So how exactly do we load images? So number one is using the scroll event listeners. Now, This basically is used for tracking a user interaction with your web page, but often slows down scrolling. So this scroll event listeners is used for tracking where exactly the user is on your web page. But when this is being used, the web page is being slowed down because of one major reason. Now, when this scroll event listener is set, it means that automatically, if the user is scrolling down to, for example, you have the blog, and in between the blog post, you have a couple of images. So if the user is scrolling from the top, going straight to the bottom, and it gets to a point where the image next that you uploaded, that you imported, is very large and didn't load fast, and it's still loading, the website will seem to lag. So it's at that point that you are going to be introducing the next I'm going to be talking about, which is passive event listeners. So we do not want that dragging to happen where you are scrolling, and at that point where it begins to drag, we don't want that to happen, but then we just want to scroll. So basically, what basically going to stop this after referencing the scroll event listeners, you're going to set up passive event listeners, and basically what you're going to do is basically setting passive as true. So by indicating it, to the listener that when you are scrolling, set passive as true, automatically it doesn't wait for the content below to load. So this doesn't wait for the content below to load before it scrolls. So even though those contents haven't loaded, it would still scroll. So in summary, you setting passive as true automatically disables the fact that the scroll event listener has to pause and have this kind of like a dragging feel on the web page before it gets to the next content. So he has to wait till that content loads. But then setting passive as true basically cancels that. You can automatically scroll there, even though the image hasn't loaded, or you can automatically scroll. So, but then you can only enable this once you've successfully preloaded all images. So you can only do set passive as true and use passive event listeners when you have set the images to preload, or you set them to lazy load in some sense. You don't just set this yet. But then, so I just wanted to talk about this first before I go further. Now let's talk deeply about progressing about lazy loading images. So lazy loading everything to increase performance. That's the goal. When you lazy load everything, the goal for every web page, the goal for every product, the goal for every startups is speed. Gatsby was able to introduce speed in a very remarkable way that changed the whole ecosystem. Gatsby was able to, so one of the methods Gatsby used to make React and Gatsby so fast is the caching feature. So automatically, when websites is being loaded, for example, let's do this. Let me just picture this in your head and follow me. So we are creating a Gatsby app. We've installed our dependencies, and now we are running Gatsby develop. So Gatsby is going to be starting on a local host 3000, and once that's done, automatically Gatsby creates a file called .catch. So every image asset, every media asset on your Gatsby site that you imported and called out to the client that could see, automatically all those data is being cached on that .catch. So when you reload the website, these media assets, they do not have to reload. You don't have to reload them locally anymore, because why? They've been compressed, they've been cached into that .catch file. That's the major reason why Gatsby is so fast. That's for Gatsby. But here, one of the ways to lazy load images and make them faster is one major thing that we know but we do not really use, which is setting loading as lazy natively. It's as simple as you referencing an image. So image loading equals lazy, as we can see over here. Now, for example, when you set image loading as lazy, all images before you get to the bottom automatically loads. Even before you get there, automatically loads everything all at the same time. That's when you set all the images as lazy. So loading equals lazy. So next, one of the most important things that we need to talk about is also iframes. So sometimes we would want to embed an iframe into our project. So you are building a web page and there's something you don't want to have in the project itself. You just want to embed it. Okay, for example, you want to embed a quote sign box. You can also lazy load an iframe into your project. So same way you can lazy load an image into your project, you can also lazy load an iframe. So setting iframe loading equals lazy, the same way we did it before. So if you don't set it as lazy, you don't set loading, automatically you're going to be having your iframe as 3 MB or larger, then things are like really slow. Then certain outlets, it takes your iframe to like 0 MB, where everything's like really fast. Everything like goes really fast. So another very important thing we have to talk about is this package called losers.js. So basically, what exactly is Loser? So Loser.js is a lightweight JS library to lazily load any HTML elements such as images, videos, iframes, and more. So the first thing you're going to have to do is to install Loser package from npm into whichever project you want to lazy load images on. And I'm going to show you the package on npm so we get there. So let's go to Google. Oh, looks like I only shared one screen. Give me a minute. Let me fix this. Stop sharing. Share screen. I want to share my browser. Can everyone see my browser? Can you see my browser?
Yeah.
Great. So you go to npm and search Luzard. Oh, did I spell that right? Oh, I added an R. My bad. So just set to Luzard. So this is the package itself. So you can see it's being used like has about 25K downloads every week. So it's really important. I'm gonna drop this link in the description. Okay, looks like it's gonna be quite hard for me to do that, but I'm gonna drop it in the description after my talk, so we can stop this. So this is the package. You can import it from here using the, as usual, npm install Luzard. That's if you're using npm as your package registry manager, or if you want to use yarn, you can just do yarn add Luzard. It automatically add this package to your project. I'm going to show you an example on how to do this in real time. So I'm going to share another screen, which is going to be my VS Code. So over here on VS Code, I'm going to install Luzard here so you can see how it's going to work. So I have here a simple create React app. So if you look at the package.json, it's just a simple create React app here saying JS and friends, and you can see that dependencies we have installed is just React, React DOM, and all of that regular things. So we're going to install Luzard. So we're going to run yarn add Luzard. So automatically this is going to be added to our package.json registry as a package. So if it's for, as I said earlier, if you're running on npm, you just do npm I Luzard, automatically adds it to your package.json. So if we come here, we see it has been added to our list of dependencies. So right now you can start using Luzard. So yeah, that's quite simple. Now I'm going to go back to my slide so we can continue. So yeah, we've been able to see how to set up Luzard as a package in real time in our projects, as I did in that simple create React app. So next, I have spoken about this already, which is adding to your project via your best package manager, whichever you have. So being able to use this in real time, you would have to import it directly into your project using the import Luzard from Luzard as regular, or the script tag that's via CDN, whichever way works better for you. But it would be easier for you to use Luzard from Luzard. So next, how would you be able to how would an image know that, okay, it's meant to be lazy loaded by Luzard? So you're going to call this image using the image element and reference the class as Luzard. So this image element we are creating, this image tag we are creating here, you're going to set the class as Luzard of whatever image that is. Then once that's been set, in your JavaScript file, you're going to initialize Luzard and set default selector as .luzard. So once this is done, automatically, so this is like static. So once you just set your initialize your project, that's the Luzard. Automatically, once you set this as class as Luzard, automatically picks this, and that's all. Like literally, that's like everything. Most of everything. There's still more to it, but if you read documentation, you get to see more. But this is the best of the best. This is really good, and it automatically all your media assets are being really fast and loads like almost instantly. That's the beauty of this. Next thing we're going to talk about is progressive image rendering in Cloudinary. So we are thinking Cloudinary, how exactly would we render images easily using Cloudinary? Yeah, let's get into that real quick. So number one, placeholders. So this is one of the things that companies like Facebook, Spotify, Google, which is the company, and a couple of other companies in Silicon Valley and outside, people use to lazy load images. This is one of the most popular systems everyone uses, which are placeholders. And how exactly does this work? Let's get into that real quick. So basically, what exactly is Cloudinary? For those who haven't used Cloudinary before, you can check out cloudinary.com. That's Cloudinary, spelled cloud, as you can see it on the screen, .com. So basically, Cloudinary is a media transformation tool. So how would placeholders work with Cloudinary? So using a placeholder with Cloudinary, you're going to have to request for a low quality image of 400 by 300. But then that size, that width and height is dependent on the image size of your original image. So you're going to have to set resolution. So yeah, 400 by 300 resolution, and grayscale has to be added. There has to be also 100% blurry, so nobody gets to see the image that is there. So basically, that's what the placeholder is. And if you look back to my former slide, you see that we have just random shapes with just colors. So these shapes were just set to colors rather than blur. But with Cloudinary, you set the background as 100% blur. So now you can see in the code I have below, I'm setting blur as even as high as 2000. My weight is set to 400 by height as 300. So now this width and height, you have to set it based on your original image. So if your original image is 1000 by 8200, that will have to be the size of your placeholder also. Then setting thumbnail as usual, then setting it as grayscale. Then quality, we are setting QAuto quality as very low. Then once we are done with this, we have to then create another image, which is for the high quality image. So for the high quality image, we will be removing two things that we referenced in the low quality image. Number one, we are removing the blur feature, so in the high quality image, the blur feature would be leaving. And number two, the grayscale feature would be leaving. And number three, the grayscale also will be leaving, and the QAuto. So QAuto here, I missed something here. So QAuto, then colon, then high. So as to define the quality of this image as high. I missed it here, but it's supposed to be there. So Q_auto, then colon, then high. So same way I wrote Q_auto, colon, low. So here's Q_auto, colon, high. So the image that would be outputted would be high. But then we have two images now. How do we make them work together and communicate with each other? So to say one of the images is really low, one is high. That means we have two separate images. How do we make them work together? That's what we're going to get in real soon. So here, basically what we're going to do is we are going to call these two images in our code base. So for example, we are going to call the low quality image that is blur, and we're going to tell our code saying, okay, for example, we are going to set the image class of call the image and set the class to low quality, then call the second image and set the class to high quality. So that's basically what I'm explaining by the left-hand side of my screen. I'm calling two different images. One is low quality, one is high quality. Then in my CSS, I am saying automatically, once the low quality image has loaded, you are going to wait for 5 seconds, and immediately after 5 seconds, you're going to transition automatically. And you can see under my image.high quality, I am saying that once the transition is done after 5 seconds, the visibility, the other high resolution image should automatically fade into the low resolution image. So automatically, once the low has been there for like 5 seconds, that's the one with placeholder, that's blur, that's grayscale. Automatically, the one which is high resolution automatically fades in after 5 seconds. As simple as that. So next, we would want to understand, one major thing that we would need to understand is when an image is taking time to load, how exactly do we know that this image is lagging behind even before uploading it to a live server? How exactly do we know that? So basically using the Lighthouse, that tool that has been provided by Google Chrome for everyone. It's available to everyone. You just have to right click, then audit. Let me show a demo about Lighthouse. I'm sure we would love to see that. I'm going to share my browser. Share. Next, I'm going to open up my blog, showdeepwarriormedia.com. So I prefer the black. So next, I'm going to right click. I'm going to inspect. So once you inspect as regular, you know, the inspector, you can pick the kind of resolution you want, but then that's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about here is auditing and knowing, using Lighthouse in real time to know how these images load. So we're going to do two things. Number one, we're going to look at network, then we're going to audit. Well, first things first, we're going to work with network. So basically here, we're going to see how long each thing. So we will have a couple of images. So let me open a blog post with images. I know I have images. So I have a couple of images on this one. So which is on Stack Workshop on React.js in summary. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna refresh this page. We're gonna start this. So record network log, then we're gonna refresh. As you can see, everything's loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So as you can see, it took 500 and a couple of, it didn't get up to 6,000 milliseconds. So now let's say 6,000 milliseconds to seconds. That should be 0 point something. Okay, let me audit this page. Just give me a minute while I do this. Verify. 6 seconds. So basically, on the counting of Google, not based on how we count, but based on how Google counts each second, it took 6 seconds for every single thing I have on this web page to load. Okay, I have just 2 images on this website. There's one project I have a lot. Okay, this one exactly. So now you can see what exactly happened here. So I am using Inclusionary placeholder for this. So let's refresh. Look at this. So this is taking time to load because of this. So I blur this image to 70%, and automatically after 5 seconds, the high resolution image automatically fades into the low resolution image. So everything works out fine. So I have a couple of images here, and basically, let's refresh this again. Let's see how long this takes. So with all the images on this page that I'm trying to, so you can see I have a couple of images here. I'm trying to, there's a load. Okay, so my internet is not so good, but then on my internet that is average. So my internet is average in speed. So I have 14,000 milliseconds. So let's go to Google again. So 14,000, right? Milliseconds to seconds. It took 14 seconds for this website to load. That is a big deal. So if your website can take 14 seconds to load, that is a very big deal, because lots of websites out there takes time. If we can still remember WordPress of years ago, WordPress took years to load. When you click website, a WordPress site, you have to sit and like really wait for the WordPress site to go up. But as of today, WordPress has been doing amazingly well. And almost if you build a blog on WordPress, automatically loads in seconds. So the goal for every product and for every startup is speed, not really like, yes, amazing UI is amazing, is important, but speed is very important also and should not be neglected in any product or in any company. That's why some companies of today, like Netlify, like Fleek, are hiring roles as developer experience. For example, a friend of mine, Sarah Dransner, she is the vice president of developer experience at Netlify. So companies like Netlify are now hiring developer experience to be able to monitor these things and make them work as fast as possible, make deployment as fast as possible, improve developer experience when using their products. These things are important. Speed is very important. Now back to what we're talking about, which is Lighthouse. So we're going to click on this button here, then we are going to click on Lighthouse. So you can see here, this is what we are auditing for performance, progressive web app, best practice, accessibility, SEO. So for performance, images is going to be under performance. So we're also auditing for mobile. So now let's generate reports. So once you click that button, this automatically transforms to a phone, and we wait. So it's auditing my blog, shodipo.com. So why it does that? So this is normal. Don't think there's a problem. It's normal. It's supposed to happen. It's almost done. So you can see here on SEO, the SEO of my blog is at 100%. Best practice is 100%. Accessibility is 96%. Then performance is 89%. Why? So let's go all of this. So view trace. So what happened? Speed index. You can see everything that's basically took time to load. So on my end here, everything is super fast. I can't think of a product that takes time to load. Let me think. That I would want to show us, because I really want to show us a demo on how this really works. Give me a minute. Let me get that up. Let me see if I can open something that's really slow. Let me say a blog or something with large images. Okay, let's just say gallery. Let's just speak. Let's say gallery in Ohio. Then we're just going to pick one. Okay, so the gallery find food and libations. So this is a gallery in Ohio, and we're going to audit their sites on. So okay, this is a food gallery. So we're going to. So they have videos. Great. They have videos. They have pictures. So we are going to be auditing this. So the same process we did as before. We are going to inspect. We are going straight to Lighthouse, and we are going to generate reports as usual. So now we wait a few seconds. So while this loads, so we can see they have videos, they have pictures. This is a perfect website for us to test this feature on. Let's see how well they did. Okay, now, so you can see the layers on how. So you can see, first of all, let's go to mine. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it took 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 seconds for the first page to load up. 1, 2, 3, 4. This took 4 seconds also. Good. Okay, this is good. This is good. Accessibility. Okay, for example, yes, I've seen one problem we find here. Now, an iframe is trying to load here. Elements do not have a title. An iframe. Okay, so this is not about speed. This is another issue with your iframe. So it's not about speed. So I'm looking for an image or something. Let's see, speed index. Let's view this thing well. CPU, speed. Okay. So it looks like their images are doing pretty well. Lighthouse doesn't really have so much to complain. As you can see over here, their images are doing pretty well on their videos. So let's try this. Let's refresh this page. So yeah, they're doing pretty well also. So basically what's supposed to happen is once your image is really having problems with loading, what basically happens is Lighthouse tells you that, okay, so your image is having issues, it's really slow or it's heavy. Lighthouse tells you all of that. Then all you have to do, it tells you also the image that is slow to load. So all you have to do is just go back to that image and rework on that image and find a way to lazy load that image. So you're working on an application. I'm also going to show you, so if Lighthouse couldn't show you that, there's also another way I'm going to talk about the end in Webpack that you can also do this. But for now, let's move forward. When we get there, I will talk about it more. So next, 1 minute. So yes, run a preloader in the background for 5 seconds and image load. So after I've spoken about this, oh, perfect, I took a screenshot. So if you look at this screenshot, under performance, you see images. So this image made 4 requests, and the size is 220 kilobytes, 220.9 kilobytes. That size is being highlighted as high by Google Chrome Lighthouse. So automatically, so this has shown you that this image is high, and you can see that there are 4 images here because there are 4 requests and image request ones. So there are 4 requests. So basically 4 images couldn't load fast. That means there are issues with the performance of that image. So exactly this is how Lighthouse is going to show you when you have issues with certain images on your web page when you're working on it. So using libraries like loader.js, using Inclusionary placeholders, and using preloaders changes the whole plane of how a lot of things work on the internet on your web page. So lazy load everything and let's see how fast it goes. So lastly, one major thing I'm going to talk about is analyzing a production JavaScript bundle with JavaScript bundle analyzer. So when you're building projects, sometimes some of your images would be so large that you wouldn't know how fast it's going to load. So even some of your JavaScript files. So basically, how exactly do we see all of these things in real time, and how would Webpack help us solve this problem? So let's move forward. So you're going to install Webpack Bundle Analyzer from NPM, as usual, using your preferred package manager, NPM or Yarn, and automatically add it to your package.json. So I'm going to show you an experiment of this also. So I'm going to share again my Google Chrome browser. So let's go over here again. So we can close this. So we're going to use this one. So you can close this. So we're going to be opening npmjs.com again. So Webpack bundle analyzer. So this one. So wait a couple of seconds and boom. So you can see it's really popular that lots of people are trying to measure on how fast their files load and how the sizes of these files they are trying to load to the front end, how exactly, how fast are they, and how exactly are they affecting my app in production. They would want to know all of these things. So you can see here to install using npm. So npm install, that's npm I Webpack Bundle Analyzer. But in this case, my preferred package manager is Yarn. So I'm going to share my code base again, and I am sharing via Yarn. So yes, we are here. So this is the last place we stopped. So we're going to close this. As you can see, we have Lozad installed, we have React, and there is no Webpack Bundle Analyzer. So if you are doing this for the first time, so you just have to yarn art. You can also specify global, but here I have it globally, so I'm just going to install in this project. So yarn art Webpack Bundle Analyzer. So automatically, so that's going to take a couple of seconds also. So I'm going to count down to like 5, 4. That was really fast. That's good. So automatically, it has been updated also in our package.json. So where is it? Where is it? Where are you? And boom, here is it. As you can see, this wasn't here before. So now we have the Webpack Bundle Analyzer installed in our project. So once this is installed, you just have to reference it in your Webpack config, as I'm going to explain soon. Once you reference your Webpack config, that's all. All you need to do is just run a set of commands, and that's all. So once you set up the Webpack Bundle Analyzer, you've installed it, you have to set it as a plugin also in your, so you create a file called webpack.config.production.prod, PR, the short form from production.js. Then once you add it as a plugin, that's all. Just save the file. And once that's done, all you need to do is just do npm run build. So once you run npm run build, automatically that creates that generates a new localhost terminal where you can click, and it gives you a preview of the files and the JavaScript files you have, images. Basically, every file you have that can be scanned by Webpack, it gives you this file and bundles them and just gives you the specific sizes of this file. And you're going to see a preview in the next slide. So over here is exactly how it looks like. So this is not animating, so I'm going to show you some in a way it animates. So give me a minute. I'm going to switch back to Chrome. So yeah, so exactly how it is on this on npm on Webpack, basically on npm.js. So this is exactly how it looks. When you hover on images, automatically shows you certain things. For example, start size. It shows you the phrase size. Basically, it shows you the size of everything you want. It also shows you the parts of everything you are importing from, no matter what it is. It shows you the parts, shows you the size, shows you everything. So once you visit localhost, rather 127.0.0.1 colon 80, 8880, 8880, basically 4 8s, automatically give you this visual in your browser. That's all. So your node models, your whatever, basically whatever file it is, you can just hover on it, as you saw in the GIF I showed you earlier. You just hover on it and it shows you the size and shows you all of that. So if this file is like really large and it's really confusing and slowing down your project in your Lighthouse, you just have to find a way to like minimize the size of that file and basically remove every code, every portion of code that is not needed. Or you could revise that session in probably make it shorter, like when React Hooks was released, it made things so much easier, and you could remove a whole portion of a code base and just replace it with like, let's say 10 to 20 lines of something that could there was like 50, or let's say 30 to 50 lines replaced to 10 to 20 lines in hooks. So basically you could know where exactly the problem is coming from, and you could go straight to that problem and fix it thanks to Webpack Bundle Analyzer. So when you're talking performance, we're talking speed, and speed is one of, design is important. Really great projects that works is very important, but performance is really important. If I click on the button, I'm expecting that I get to see what is behind that button, the next page, as fast as possible. Fast, I'm talking about performance, I'm talking about speed. I don't have time to wait. I would want it now. Clients are not really, we are all developers here because this is a dev conference. So clients are not so patient and users are not so patient. They would want to click something and they want it now. So they want to click your blog post and they want it to load like right now. They do not want to wait for 2 minutes. They do, once they are waiting for like 2 minutes, and automatically they go to like the cancel tab and they just close your website. So that's all. You've lost the client and they would never come back. Speed brings people back. They see your product is fast, it saves them time. They would always want to come back. So on the mobile version, it should be performance. On the desktop side, should be fast and performance. These things are very important. Great design is good. All of these things are good, but then performance is also very important, which is something we must never neglect as a startup or when you're building a product, web app, whatever you're building, performance is very important. So yeah, thank you very much. You could follow me on Twitter. If you're tweeting about this conference or you've taken a screenshot before, you can post on Twitter and tag me. I'll definitely retweet once I see it. My username is @developer_AO. So developer, then AYO, as you pronounce it. So yeah, thanks so much. So if you have any questions, you could ask them now. I can stop sharing my screen about now. So thank you everyone for coming.